So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us worldwide. Welcome to Fireside Chat with Channel Chief by itVARnews, a platform where we decode the partner ecosystem with leaders shaping it. It has become a strategic boardroom priority. CIOs, CISOs, cloud architect, everyone now wants one integrated intelligent layer that gives them real-time visibility, security context, and AI-driven insight across the entire stack. And that's where Datadog has emerged as a serious force, unifying end-to-end observability with deep security intelligence. With Datadog scaling its channel motion across APAC, this conversation couldn't be better timed. Eric, good to have you here.
Hey, thank you so much, Anuj, and thank you for Tech Plus for taking some time to learn a little bit more about the observability market and how partners can participate in this growing part of the industry.
Pleasure is completely ours. So before we dive into the observability and the Datadog partner strategy, would you spend? I mean, what I know is like you've really spent a long and a very successful career shaping the channel ecosystem across APAC. You have witnessed the partners world evolving from being a simple but the service partners to becoming a co-creator in customer journey transformation. So what first pull you into the partner ecosystem, and what keep you passionate about this space even today?
Yeah, thanks, Anuj. I guess I was really fortunate to start my career in IT infrastructure with Hewlett Packard, who major player in that space, and also a very partner centric go to market strategy. So even in the fundamentals of that business, partnering was something that was a really deep part of how they went to market, and so that's something that has had a big role in shaping my career and my approach to how business gets done really successfully. I guess in that company was also a kind of a good foundation to get to experience a broad range of technology domains. So for me personally, that covered IT infrastructure and data technologies. At one point also included a pretty strong software portfolio that they went to market with at the time, which is my first official dedicated partnering role. I really just fell in love with partnerships. I felt that it was one of the parts of the industry where the profession allows you to pour yourself into so many different aspects of a business. Working with partners and the vendor teams, we really got to explore how to grow and build business and customer success through marketing, through sales, through technology and enablement, doing deals, negotiating agreements. And it was just really I guess a full spectrum type of profession. And the types of, project and capability that the partners brought to market were so deep and so diverse that for anybody who likes learning and has intellectual curiosity, I still feel that partnerships is bar none the best part of any organization that you can be part of. You just get exposure to so many industries and really intelligent use cases and intelligent use of technology.
Beautifully put, Eric. The shift from the service providers to the co-creator is exactly what we are seeing across the globe, in fact, not only here in the APAC belt, but across the globe. And thanks for putting it so well. So let's quickly dive into the discussion as to why is end-to-end observability becoming mission critical for CIOs and CTOs in 2025, especially with cloud complexity and AI adoption increasing.
Yeah, sure thing, Anuj. I mean, folks that, are familiar with the domain, may sort of understand where this concept of observability came from, sort of evolved out of, what had been traditional kind of monitoring and IT operations use cases. Over time, as those systems came to start shifting from more reactive operations to actually being able to anticipate, issues or performance and availability scenarios coming up. Some of the tooling started to leverage additional sources of data. And so, beyond traditional system metrics, what if you were able to layer in how my application stack is performing, or, what's happening in my system of record in log files? And so the concept of observability was kind of born out of bringing those multiple data sources together and being able to, create useful correlations at scale. Over time, that use case being used by traditional IT operators, sort of through the era of, agile development, lean principles, and microservices, started to, I guess, grow in importance. Systems became much more distributed and ephemeral. And so this ability to observe what was happening in those systems became a lot more powerful, but also a lot more complex, because there were now many, many different architectures and data sources to try to monitor. I guess what Datadog had started to see over time was that that created an opportunity to maybe take a different approach to how we design observability platforms. And so that design criteria from Datadog really started to centralize the data-led approach to solving that problem. Instead of having a collection of, monitoring and observability tools that we try to stitch together, what if we just had a common data layer that made those problems much easier, better correlated at scale in real time? What we've seen more recently is that those capabilities or those principles of observability are starting to have a lot more direct relevance to people outside of IT operations. So people in lines of business who want to understand the connection between their system's performance and how their business is run, where revenue is coming from, or where risks can pop up, making sure that they're compliant, bringing those same principles into the security domain. And more recently into AI, we're actually starting to find that, a lot of the problems that people are trying to solve in AI, or opportunities they're trying to exploit, start to look more and more like observability problems. People trying to understand, is the thing that I've built useful? Is it compliant? Do I need to worry about data privacy? Or am I having hallucinations more often than I'd like? What does it cost me relative to the value I create? These are pretty important, pressing decisions for a lot of people right now. And it turns out that these are actually observability problems. So over time, we've sort of been leading that evolution from, doing a better job at low-level system tools for individual operators, all the way through to, CEOs, lines of business heads who are trying to observe their business through the lens of technology. So we are continuing that evolution, and again, trying to bring those principles of observability to a much wider audience where we feel it's directly relevant and it can add a lot of value.
Absolutely. So that's what we've been hearing, the same kind of stories from the CIOs as well. Complexity today is exponential and not linear. And that's where I feel Datadog has a lot of ground to play. So now Datadog has announced a strong focus within APAC, especially within India. What's driving this expansion, and how does the partner ecosystem fit into your group strategy?
Yeah, a couple of things. So India is an incredibly exciting part of our business, for Datadog overall, and in particular for partnerships. It's a market that Datadog has been heavily investing in the last couple of years. Our teams across the board there have grown very, very quickly, and the kind of problems that we solve for clients, we firmly believe and are embracing this concept that tool sets alone don't solve problems. People solve problems, and tool sets are a big part of that. But I guess in recognition of that, as we've grown, our team there and, our work with clients, there's been a very heavy emphasis on embedding partnerships into how we go to market, how we help customers achieve their outcomes. And ultimately that, that's the thing that drives the success of Datadog's business. So yeah, it's been a really big period of investment and growth for Datadog in the region overall, and a very deliberate partner-centric strategy for our entire team to continue growing the business there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think India is no longer just a delivery hub. That's what the perception has been. It has actually become a very serious cloud transformation market, and partners definitely what they want is they want vendors who can collaborate, not compete. And I can see a lot of synergy out here. So can you just mention? You mentioned about Datadogs helping partners diversifying their revenue model. What does it look like in practice?
So we have a diversity of partners that we work with as well, from the largest cloud hyperscalers on earth down to, really specialized boutique providers that are, very deeply experienced in certain domains. I guess, mirroring our concept of making observability available to everybody, there's sort of an analogous way that we look at the types of partnerships that we support and the types of opportunities that open up for our partners. So, that spectrum might include, advisory centric partnerships where they are really there to help clients navigate, modern team formations, modern technology recommendations, obviously, through to things like adherence to regulatory compliance. And again, it turns out observability tools are a very, very useful and powerful way to show clients how close to a regulatory requirement they actually are, or how closely they meet that, and help them pinpoint areas where, they might need to improve. Some of our partners are the next generation of, value-added resellers. So product experts, they scan the market, they identify the strongest technologies from emerging technologies to really well-established ones, and help clients to navigate technology selection as well as procurement. We've got a fairly significant body of managed service provider partners who consume Datadog internally just because it really helps them operationalize their offerings for their clients. It helps them keep those offerings performant and secure and available. In a lot of cases, those partners are also offering Datadog as a service or a managed offering in conjunction with their other managed offerings. I guess a big emerging part of our partner ecosystem are also kind of the more cloud native partners. These are often the stronger partners of the cloud hyperscalers themselves. They might be involved in, complex change projects for clients. They might be helping clients with infrastructure modernization and move to the cloud. They might be helping clients with application modernization or cloud security or modern data technologies. These are all really good examples of what can be change events for clients where you want an expert in the field and a safe pair of hands who knows how to do that cost effectively and at low risk. A lot of those partners use observability tools to help govern those transformation projects as well. And so for them, they might be looking for a strong observability tool set for the end state, a very modern cloud native set of, technology operations, but also using those principles of observability to govern the actual transition or the migration. Again, that typically helps speed up those changes, de-risk them, and typically deliver them at much lower cost and higher quality. So many other partner types in between. We've got folks embedding Datadog into their products. We've got GSIs now building dedicated centers of excellence around Datadog for scale delivery to global scale. Again, it's fascinating work for us, and it keeps us, intimately involved in many different, value delivery chains through different types of partners. And we've got the luxury of having flexible programs and really smart people who can show up and help with that full spectrum of partners in all the places where we feel we can add a lot of value.
Make a lot of sense. Okay, now let me just quickly jump into AI. AI is clearly changing buying behavior, and how is Datadog using AI inside the platform? How does it really help partners differentiate in the market?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite topics, and I know I'm in good company. We've got actually a really clear, coherent strategy with AI. There are kind of two types of ways that we use AI, or that we operationalize AI in our solutions. The first way we do that is we use AI inside our platform. So we have created a series of agents which really closely align to personas. So typical personas that use the Datadog platform day in and day out. We have created a series of agents which we call Bits AI to really closely align and help make those people more productive. So our current stable of Bit tools includes an agent for SREs, an agent for developers, and an agent for security analysts. So because we've got this huge wealth of very rich, clean data from the years and years that we've been doing high quality observability services, it's put Datadog in a really good position to identify the most valuable areas where we can help agents cut down time to triage, diagnose, and restore services. It might help them to build scripts, might help them to identify threats, and typically will then help that individual make some smart recommendations or look in the right areas. So in addition to, helping our partners bring that innovation to clients to help their core performance, I also think it's a smart way to help enable their people. If you're bringing in earlier stage career folks into, let's say, an SRE role, actually one great way to accelerate how well they can learn is to pair them with a smart agent that can maybe give them some hints about where to look, or again, recommend scripts to run, recommend resolutions, and just help those people to develop those core skills and improve their learning. The second strategy that we've got with AI is actually helping organizations build AI and make smarter choices about how they operationalize and run. So these are some of the problems that I alluded to earlier. How do you, help prevent prompt injections? How do you help clients choose the right LLM models, balancing cost with fit for purpose? How do you help them understand GPU utilization? Or maybe different teams are trying to schedule in to get time on the GPU. One really useful way to be able to help make those decisions is to actually observe GPU utilization, understand how many tokens you're consuming. So again, a lot of those modern workloads that partners are helping clients to build or to make decisions around are really best served through the lens of observability.
Absolutely, very sharp articulation. Thanks, Eric. Because AI reliability and governance are the boardroom discussion now. So if the partner really walk into a CXO meeting with a high level of insight, it becomes a real serious differentiator.
Anuj, I was going to say one thing that we've also seen over time is, if we're involved in, more of a traditional observability use case, tool set consolidation, there are a range of stakeholders that we're working with inside the client, from, hands-on keys, developers and analysts through to, IT middle management and CIOs and CISOs. One of the things we're finding with AI use cases, that's actually often a CEO level discussion or a line of business. Oftentimes those requirements start with the person or the team creating a value created product inside their organization. And so actually some of the stakeholders that, these types of solutions are directly relevant to, mean that our partners have this new conversation starter that they can bring to different personas inside their client base. And it sort of shortens the distance between a technology conversation and a business outcome conversation. In the world of AI, those are so intimately tied and close together. So yeah, we've really seen those opportunities also evolve. Again, the kind of personas and relevance that our partners can bring to different folks in their client base.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the AI first managed service is something which is just exactly where partners are putting a lot of interest around, and I'm glad you have something around that. So now just quickly move down to something around like on your partner program. So how's uh, Datadog you know partner first different from what the market have seen earlier?
Yeah. So we relaunched our sales and services partner program at the start of 2024. What we were trying to achieve with that program is one, to make it very accessible for partners. That way, we're not trying to gatekeep who can start leveraging our programs and bringing our technology to market. And part of that was creating really scalable, easy ways to sign up, start participating in programs, training people, getting access to sales assets and other go-to-market assets. Um, so that's one way in which we've really been able to open up, the variety and breadth of partners that we can bring direct relevance and value to. Um, Part of that program also really simplified some of our partner tiers and benefits associated. It simplified how our pricing works with partners and clarifies. And part of those program elements also brought our account teams much closer with partnerships. So everything from really simplified, opportunity registration or pathways to engage with our team, through to us actually being able to help enable partners in not just our technology, but our go-to-market. How do we help clients streamline their decision making? This is something Datadog has been taking a data-led approach to, and so we do have a really well structured way that we work with clients and help them onboard. And that's been a really awesome opportunity for our partners to, participate in in that process in a really repeatable way. In some cases, they're actually learning how we go to market and sort of that process that we take clients through. Maybe one example, if you can indulge me, um, we often take clients through a process of a proof of value phase where, once we sort of understood a business problem, we'll actually go and we'll solve it with them, before any purchases are made. And that's one of the areas where we've actually been involving partners in that exercise as well. So oftentimes, partners will come and shadow with our people, or partners might be leading that, and we're going to shadow with them. But it's just been a really positive way that we've been able to bring sort of our go-to-market teams together really, really tightly with, with partners, one, showing up together, giving the client comfort, making sure that we both really understand the business problem we're trying to solve and how we're solving it. But actually, between us and the partner, that's also a really powerful way to get skills transfer. And the more partners can, be hand in glove with our people, the faster they learn about, Datadog. And also we get to learn about what they do well. And that just really helps us to kind of diversify our understanding of, not just observability and Datadog and the client, but what happens to the left and the right of that? What are some other systems that, Datadog integrates with, or how's it being used in conjunction with modern cloud technologies? So yeah, that's been a really good, mutually beneficial way that we sort of programmatically embed partners into our sales and go-to-market.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. I think transparency, accessibility, and simplicity go a long way, in a channel ecosystem. I'm glad that you guys are working around it. And what kind of a footprint you guys have when you talk about the entire Asia Pac belt, including, I mean, and the region which really falls under your. So
Yeah.
is it like, can you just, would you be comfortable in giving some numbers or throwing some numbers around it?
Yeah.
How many partner base you have across the region? Do you have a split around the partner? Like, do you have technology, a separate line of technology partners, service partners, and then probably consulting partners, and so on and so forth?
Yeah. So we've kind of erred on the side of simplicity. I don't know about you, Anuj. I've in past lives have logged into different partner portals, and you can get lost pretty quickly in those things. There's just so much going on, so many different little sub programs, and so we've kind of erred on the side of simplicity. We have two major components to what we call the Datadog Partner Network. One is technology partnerships, which you alluded to. These are where typically technology organizations are going to be building integrations, or they may be embedding Datadog into a core product of theirs.
Mhm.
Uh, so at Datadog, we've got a really robust technology partner program. We recently crossed the 1,000 integration threshold, so we now support 1,000 integrations, and quite a few of those are partner built. That part of our partnerships is actually owned by our product team, so it's a direct line between the core people building and setting our roadmap and making sure that our product is very functional, and really embedding technology partnerships into our product. The other part of the DPN, or the Datadog Partner Network, is more on the sales and channel side and services. Um, Maybe 10 years ago, if you were an ISV, you could count the number of partners you had by looking at the number of like reseller agreements you had. I guess in our world, and even looking 3 or 5 years ahead, I actually think that the different types of partner that we work with are going to continue to diversify, and they're not all going to be predicated on, reselling or MSP style agreements. That's still a very important part of our ecosystem. But, again, we've got this big diversity of partners who are building, services practices around Datadog, or they might be building, advisory, purely advisory services around our technology, or using our technology. Um, we've got, many of them participating in marketplace go-to-markets with our cloud providers, and sometimes bringing, those power of three or power of partnerships motions together. So I'm sort of deflecting your question a little bit, because from my point of view, it's not as simple as saying, here's the number of partners. I would say, we want to be going much deeper with a set of really focused, trusted partners. But we also know that our technology can be so relevant to so many different types of engagement and use case, that we're trying to have it both ways. And I think we're doing a really good job of making, again, partnerships accessible, while also finding ways to go really, really deep with, deeply committed partners who are also, investing back in Datadog.
Well said, Eric. I'll just tweak my question a bit of it. So, Eric, what I wanted to know is, like, when you talk about your footprint there in the APAC, would it be specific in terms of, like, any specific region within the APAC where you have the largest base of your, your probably the impact stack of your service or technology partners? So, would it be like the emerging markets here in the ASEAN belt, or is it more towards the down south? What exactly? I mean, if you can just, I'm not going to ask the numbers, but at least just give me a kind of a footprint, or probably to our audience more about, because I think you're looking at APAC, and APAC is a very mature market, especially when it comes to the partner ecosystem. And if you can just let us know a little bit, or know the audience a little bit about that, that will really help us.
Yeah, yeah, sure thing. I mean, we do have a large team in Bangalore, so that's not the only place that we've got people, but that was sort of where our Datadog team in India started. Um, but actually, the partner ecosystem is pretty spread out. We've had some really strong partners that are more in kind of the cloud native part of the ecosystem, and their client base might be, really successful startups in even consumer facing applications. So, areas like media streaming or food delivery or, travel and aviation. Those are all parts of the market which have been really aggressive adopters of our technology, because that is where, we're sort of looking to where technology is heading, and we are designing the tool sets that help clients get there and run there. Um, we have a really strong cohort of what I would call local SI partners. These are, India-based partners that sell into, banks and insurers, manufacturing, and in some cases more traditional enterprises. And they're finding that, building Datadog offerings into how they go to market, either as an SI or as an MSP, actually helps with a lot of those traditional problems, but in a really accelerated fashion. And in a lot of cases, those partners are in an awesome position to lead things like toolset consolidation efforts, where their client base is struggling because they've adopted all these different tools, and each of them might be, compelling in the thing that it does. But the more those organizations start trying to operate as a team, they start to see the limitations of having, so many different tools that don't all integrate as well as they ought to. Well, if those teams are trying to work more closely together, that creates a really strong opportunity in traditional enterprise to rationalize cost by eliminating many, many different tools and dramatically simplify the way they operate. Both of those lead to reduced cost and reduced risk, and typically really, really improved outcomes in how the teams operate and the velocity that they can run at. Maybe the last sort of partnering example I can share is, global solution integrators. And those, sometimes are the hubs that are based in India, serving, both domestic and overseas clients. And so we've actually seen significant adoption and investment from some of our GSI partners, not just in, centers of excellence and skills, but actually embedding Datadog into some of the core product platforms that they own and operate for clients. So yeah, I'd say it's a really diverse ecosystem that we're building. They're selling to small clients, they're selling to large existing clients, and kind of everything in between. So there are, I'd hesitate to think of an industry that doesn't have these, modern observability and cloud security problems today. Datadog's just done a really good job of building a platform that's very accessible and powerful for, for all parts of the market. So yeah, it's hard to draw a really specific, area where we're sort of over indexed. It's been a lift across the board, which is awesome. I mean, we run a business as well. It's great to have a diversified business and a wide set of customer types and use cases.
Absolutely. So now we are just moving on to the final question. So what's your message to the channel leaders, the ISVs and MSPs and the cloud consultants watching this chat series on itVARnews?
Yeah. Well, I sometimes hesitate to give advice, but I can share what I saw in Datadog, and one of the reasons that I was really excited to join and continue building here. And it's really looking ahead. Datadog, I think, has really focused our design criteria around where the market's heading, not where it used to be. And that's not just a statement about technology. We're really good at meeting clients where they're at, but then helping them to modernize and sort of move into, new ways of doing things. And we're really looking at, where the market is going to be 2, 3, 4 years from now, the kind of capabilities that they require. I think there's a really similar approach that we've taken to partnerships. So, looking at the core, channel partnerships and alliance partnerships that we've been growing over a long period of time, but also looking at the evolving role of what partnerships mean in the value delivery chain. And in some cases that, that might be new areas where they're delivering value, which are different from, what they had been doing 10 years ago. Um, so yeah, I think we're really focused on solving problems today and solving problems of tomorrow, and that's where we're putting our investments as well. It's one of the reasons that India has turned into such an important investment market for us. Is we can see as an organization just the vibrancy, the importance, and the innovation coming out of the India market. So it's one of the areas that we're deeply investing in.
So with this, Eric, we come to the end of the session, and the opportunity in observability and cloud security is massive and still very under penetrated. Customers are overwhelmed by complexity, and that's where the partners shine. And Datadog is here to help partners build profitability, repeatability, and service on the platform trusted globally. So, so with this, thank you so very much, Eric, for being there and sharing uh, your experience with the partner ecosystem across the entire pack. So thank you.
Hey,
Thanks a lot.